All right, guys, we are live here. Denver is a couple of timeouts away from losing their second game in a row. A horrific collapse. However, it is not officially over. Denver does have one last gasp. It all starts, we cannot let Washington get a first down here. All right. Randy Gregory with a big stop there. Denver's going to take a quick timeout. All right, I got to keep talking just so we don't get a copyright claim over this, but all right. Denver took their second timeout. If we can get a stop here, then we'll probably get the ball back with about a minute left and no timeouts. Down by 8, so that's going to be the key there. All right. All right, here we go. Big third down. Big third down here, guys. D-Rock says dump the roster in the offseason. At this point, we may need to get a new defensive coordinator. It's sure looking like. All right, big third down. Washington converts this, it's over. All right, Denver's going to call their last timeout, or they already called it. So the clock's going to run here. Denver's going to get the ball back with just under a minute left with no timeouts. Down by 8. All right, Washington's getting ready to punt right now. And they just took a timeout. All right, guys. All right, here we go. Washington about to punt. Jess, welcome in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see if Washington can pin Denver inside their 10. Here's Way's kick. Fair catch by Marvin Mims at the 12-13 yard line. All right. 48 seconds, no timeouts. We need 8 points. All right, guys, this is it. Can Denver atone for their second half collapse? Well, the collapse really started in the first half. Washington, 66 total offensive plays for 388 yards and 26 first downs. We'll be ripping into Vance Joseph plenty, trust me. Oh, no! False start. Please, no. Damn it! Shit! That's a false start. That's a killer. Damn it! Now it's 1st and 15. This team will never take. Sean Payton has too much pride for that. Throw it underneath. There you go, Cortland Sutton. He had Troutman open on that one, but found something a little deeper to Sutton. They know they need plays. They need chunks. Got to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Second and 3. McFlinchy is back, yep. What happens if we get a touchdown? We have to go for 2 points. That's the only way we can tie this. Wilson swings it underneath and it's dropped by Brandon Johnson. Probably the smart idea. He wouldn't have gotten out of bounds. That stops the clock. Third down and 3, 35 seconds left. Down by 8. Denver needs a chunk now. I'd just kind of throw it up there and maybe hope for a pass interference or something. Seriously, I'd just throw it up and hope for a PI at this point. Russ, retreating. Just throw it up, Russ. Just throw it up. Off the wrong shoulder to a tightly covered Jerry Jeudy. Should have just thrown it up. I don't like that play call. I do not like that play call at all. Now it's 4th down and 3, 28 seconds. Jess says, no, with these officials, fair enough, man. The officiating has been dog shit on both sides, but it feels more so for Denver, honestly. 2 missed face mask penalties, including one on that last drive there, where Russell Wilson, I believe, took a sack. Here's Russ, 4th and 3, you gotta have it. He's gonna run, he's gonna pick it up. Russell, get out of bounds, Russell! Get out, shit, he didn't get out of bounds! He did not get out of bounds! The clock continues to run! He did not get out of bounds, they gotta go! They gotta hurry up, they gotta hurry up! Merlot, they won't tank. They just won't. That's just not in their DNA. 9 seconds left. Russ not getting out of bounds there was probably the kill shot. I need to see those 2 Russell interceptions with the all-22. From my angle of it, and I see the TV angle didn't show a very good angle of it, but it looked like on both the one that got dropped and the one that Russ actually threw, a wrong route was run, but cannot be sure. All right, 9 seconds, 2nd down, maybe a quick hit out of bounds, and then one more try at a Hail Mary. Russ on the boundary. It's hauled in by Cortland Sutton. He gets out of bounds. 3 seconds. We're going to have a Hail Mary. All right, guys, it's Hail Mary time. Connor says, just give up on this shit show. What a sorry excuse for a football organization. I mean, can't dispute that. This is pathetic. All right, Washington takes the timeout. They want to try to get into the right defense here. You know they're going to be playing prevent defense all the way. They'll probably drop 10 guys back into coverage and maybe only rush 1 guy. At max, they're going to rush 3 and they'll drop 8 into coverage. Let me tell you what, man. Washington's screen pass game and shallow crosses killed us in this game. Feels like Eric Bieniemy, you know he was watching the Rocky Mountain Showdown last night. Saw what those crossers were doing to freaking Colorado all night. We're 0-2 with the Chargers. Merlot says, hey, man, at least the Chargers are down there with us. And then the Raiders too, man, but still. Raiders obviously lost today too, but still, man, it sucks. All right, Russ, last play of the game. Russ heaves it into the end zone. Too short, tipped. Oh my God! 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 Marvin Mims got it! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh! Oh! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Dude, we gotta go for 2! Holy shit! It was caught! Brandon Johnson! Alright, now we gotta go for 2 to tie it! We have to go for 2! Oh, what an electric ending! We gotta go for 2! Russell takes the snap, surveys, end zone, no! Incomplete, no flags. That's the ball game. Wow. Nope. No flags. Incomplete. All right, guys, let's head out. Excuse me. Good win, man. Good win, bro. Congratulations. Shit. Oh my God, dude. They just showed it on the replay. It looked like Cortland got held. It really did. I have to see it again, but it really looked like Cortland got held. Yeah, that does make it sting a little less. It really does. But still, man, the way this team defensively collapsed. And we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention it, man. Russell Wilson's fumble was really the key. That changed the entire momentum from this game. Oh, man. That could have been such an electric ending. Uh-oh. Are we reconnected? I agree, Jess. It looked like a flag to me. I'm so sorry. I'll have to see it again, but man, that did look like a flag to me. That's frustrating. We're just walking over right now to the little cafe area where I always do my post-game show, guys. And after that, we'll sit down and we'll actually start breaking down what happened in this game. Shit. Yes, it does. Man, that's so frustrating. Just the way Vance Joseph's defense, man, I swear to God, if you're going to play a soft zone defense like that, you need to at least be sound and fundamental with your tackling.
Are you on live right now?
I am on, yeah, sure.
I'm sad.
Yep.
That was fucked up.
Me too. Me too. I am sad too.
That was really fucked up.
Jess says Russ didn't fumble. It was a face mask. Yeah, I did see that. The officiating was inexcusable. I will say that. I'll have to go rewatch the TD. Oh, that's frustrating, man. Before that last second touchdown, we are outscored 32-3 in the second half. Or even in the first half too. Jess says, Peyton and Russ need to give these refs the business when they're influencing to that extent. I mean, when else have we seen the referees influence a game that's been coached by Sean Payton? NFC Championship game 2019. It feels like ever since Bountygate, the officials, I don't want to say had it out to get it for Sean, but there's been a suspect amount of no calls or bad calls on a Sean Payton-led team ever since that particular incident. All right, guys, we're just trying to make our way back over here to the cafe area so we can do this formally here. That last play, I need to see that again because it literally looked like Cortland Sutton was getting tangled up. Two missed face masks on Russ. One on that fumble. And then again, guys, I need to see the replay on the one dropped interception and the one he actually threw, because again, from my angle, the one that actually got caught by Washington, it appeared Cortland Sutton ran a corner route and Russ was expecting him to run a flat route. So that's what it looked like happened there. On that first one, it almost looked like Judy quit on his route. Again, guys, this is all talking from me, not seeing the television copy yet, of course. Once I see that, I'll really have a lot more information for you. But we'll come down here and we'll sit down, we'll break stats down, all that good stuff. Yeah, that last play, that had a chance to be something so much fun. That 2-pointer, though, I really want to see that again. Going by the new team store right now. You got Browntown in the house saying tough loss. Yes, it sure was. Yes, it sure was. Oh, man. You know, Jay Fresh Fry says should have just ran the ball on that 2-pointer. Yeah. I probably would have too, but Washington's run defense really tightened up in the second half here. Okay, where am I here? Sorry guys, I'm having to walk around like a big circle right now. Antelope says he's about to watch it. All right, Antelope, tell me what happened. Tell me if you think it should have been a flag or not. Okay. Yeah, guys, again, we're just trying to head over to the bar area here. Obviously, it's a bit of chaos right now. Cruz says pathetic. We got outscored 32-9 after we went up 21-3, man. Vance Joseph. That's all I really have to say about this. Vance fucking Joseph, man. You cannot play soft zone coverage if you're terrible at tackling. And that's exactly what Vance Joseph did, man. Washington killed us with crossing routes. They killed us with screens. And that's all because of Vance Joseph's shitty soft zone defense. And when you can't tackle, I am proud of the way that they fought towards the end. I'm definitely proud of that. Obviously, wish that that 2-pointer would have gone our way. Dermeyer says no man coverage at all in this game. I'll have to go back and watch the tape. But last week, they played a lot of man coverage and they blitzed quite a bit. But unfortunately, the Raiders, then, Jimmy Garoppolo picked up pretty much every blitz that the Raiders sent. He slid the protection. You can go and watch my film study from last week and see what happened there. This week, lots of soft zone. It felt like a completely different game plan for Vance Joseph. And it really... Antelope says, in terms of Sutton, I don't know if he really got held, honestly. Okay. All right. If it was a good call, then I'll take it. It was live. It was emotional in the moment. I'll have to go back and look at the call later and see it again when I watch the TV copy. Man, dude. Julius Bass says, welcome back, Vance. Antelope says, Vance Joseph sucks. DH says, the defense is weak, simple, plain, and yeah, it is. And they can't even execute the simple shit. That's the frustrating part. Dermeyer in the house. I saw you on Twitter pretty much ranting the whole game. He says, Mathis looked horrible again once a week. Yep, again, guys, I'm not going to attest to that. I have to go look at the tape. Dermeyer says that was an obvious hold. We'll have to go. Yeah, again, I'll go back. I'll take a look at it again. Frustrating. I mean, I've never seen a tip drill touchdown like that actually get caught. That was insane, but Mad Mordigan says, I'm so sad at the moment. Totally understandable. Browntown says, heading into work, totally dig your channel. Thank you so much, Browntown. I really appreciate you. Man. You know, the game plan in the first half I felt like was fantastic. On that first drive, we ran the ball extremely effectively. Then on the second drive, man, I mean, we hit him on a play action, deep shot on the second play of the drive. Then, sorry, I just got to go through my notes here. Then we allow them to go downfield, kick a field goal, and then after, or we let them kick the field goal before the deep ball touchdown to Marvin Mims. And then after that, man, we got a big punt. We had that big punt return, but what held it back was that Ben Powers hold, and then obviously the Russell Wilson fumble that may or may not have had a question. Well, it did have a missed face mark on it. Oh my, okay. Oh, here they go, man. It was Raiders fans last week, and now it's the Commanders fans this week. D-Rock says, how can we not protect our home field? I mean, I don't care where you are. If you play shitty football, you're not going to win games. That's simple. Jess says, yeah, the no line was a nightmare, and Russ seemed to regress at times before he got his legs back in the fourth. There were a couple of sacks that I counted that were on Russell Wilson. There were. And then on that one where he got his face mask grabbed, again, I need to see it again. I feel like he could have thrown that ball away before he got grabbed. That's just me. But again, I need to see it again. I was on the other side of the field from where I was. So I'm not going to comment further on that particular play until I see it again. But from what I did see on the interception that got dropped by Washington, and then the one 2 plays later that actually got caught by Washington, it looked like those were 2 shitty routes. Cortland, it looked like ran a post or a corner route, a sail route when he meant to run a flat route, and then the next one, Jerry, looked like he quit on his route. It really did. Antelope says it's always the third quarter where we collapsed. I mean, I'd argue we started to collapse in the second quarter too. We gave up that 2-minute drill to Washington right before the half ended. Super frustrating. Austin, do you think we should just tank and get a high draft pick? So, okay, here's the deal. Tanking, it's already too late for us to tank, basically. Tanking doesn't happen on the field. Players and coaches do not tank. Tanking is where front offices basically remove all of the resources that allows you to win football games. It's when offices get rid of your good players, and they try to parlay those players into draft picks. If the Broncos were going to tank, it should have started already in the season, and Sean Payton is going to coach to win football games, and these players are going to play to win football games. I mean, yeah, we may naturally end up with a high draft pick, but D-Rock says, where are the pass rushers? Aside from Nick Bonito, once again, pass rush was really rough. Randy Gregory's sack, that was a cleanup sack from what I could tell. That wasn't him winning at the line of scrimmage. Nick Bonito looked phenomenal. He really did. But aside from that, man, once again, the pass rush was completely non-existent. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull up our stats here. Just let me know your overall thoughts on this garbage, Broncos country, because defensively, I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't, because this Vance Joseph defense, if you're going to play soft zone coverage, you have to know how to fucking tackle. DJ Capo says, get rid of Russell and VJ. I'm not putting this one on Russell except for that fumble where, again, he could have thrown it away, and he did get his face mask grabbed. That's a tough one. The INTs, until I see the tape, I'm pretty certain those were shitty routes. Mundungus in the house. What's going on, buddy? Says, oh boy. Yep, oh boy is right. Dermeyer, Zach Allen is a big disappointment. I said Nick Bonito looked good. I didn't say the rest of the pass rush looked good. Losing K-Jack threw our D off again. Our personnel is so thin. That, I think, is an underrated part of it. Especially where Washington started hitting us with a lot of screen passes. And downfield, there were a couple of times where I saw Delarian Turner yell whip on a tackle. We got David Johnson in the house. Welcome in, David. Good to see you, buddy. Antelope says, I cannot believe how shit this defense has become. It's incredible. And that's what happens when you change schemes like that. I understand Ejiro Evero wanted to leave, but if I'm the Broncos, I would have tried to keep him. I would have maybe tried to sweeten his contract a little bit, and I would have tried to keep Ejiro Evero in the building. Dermeyer says, won't be surprised if K-Jack gets suspended. Yeah, I mean, he could, because last week, obviously, the league office got on his case. They gave him that fine, even though it was kind of questionable. It looked like he was lowering his shoulder, and Myers actually kind of lowered his helmet on that particular hit to brace for the contact. So that first one in the Raiders game for K-Jack was questionable. This one was not. This was blatant helmet to helmet. Like, he absolutely deserved to get tossed for that. That was just undisciplined by Kareem Jackson. And as a 13, 14-year veteran, whatever the hell it is, that shit cannot fly. That shit just cannot fly. Joe Vincent says, so Vance failed us as a coach and we decided to bring him back as D coordinator. You know, yeah, I can't argue that. And people are like, oh, well, he did good in Arizona. No, he did not. Vance Joseph consistently posted one of the worst defenses in Arizona, time in and time out. It was the same shit, man. Soft zone defenses with poor tackling and blitzes that cannot get home, even when you send 5 or 6 rushers. I'm sorry, man. That's not going to fly. Now, with Russell Wilson, again, we have to talk about his performance in this one because it was very polarizing. For me, the 2 plays that really were negative plays for Russ that I will just say you cannot have happen, 2 red zone sacks. He took 2 bad red zone sacks today where he held on to the ball way too long. You've got to get rid of the ball and live to fight another down. And then again, I have to wait to see that fumble again because I feel like he could have thrown it away. But again, that's just from the angle I saw it. Jess says, Joe, I think it was the best option who was available. Evero and Fangio said no, but I would have thrown that Walmart bag on to try to secure one of them. I would have Evero, definitely, not Fangio. This is an unpopular take in Broncos country. Vic Fangio's defense sucks. It really does. It's a lot of the same bend, don't break crap. And last week, Vic Fangio's defense is arguably the reason why the Miami Dolphins nearly lost that game. They came back, they won it at the end to seal it, but they nearly lost that game at the end because of Vic Fangio's defense. So, I don't know, man. I wouldn't have brought back Vic Fangio, but with Ejiro Evero, what I loved about him was that he was able to take that Vic Fangio defensive scheme and evolve it. He allowed defenses to use a lot more man coverage with this scheme, whereas Vic Fangio was really afraid to play man coverage. He's afraid to blitz, and those are my biggest qualms with Vic Fangio. It's a lot of the same squishy shit. And a lot of people don't seem to realize Vance Joseph is running Vic Fangio's scheme right now. He's not running his own scheme. That could be a part of it too, but ridiculous. Buffs and Rams looked better. I mean, come on. We all know who the top football team in Colorado is right now. I mean, you can clearly see that the Buffs were better coached on Saturday than the Broncos were. And just think about that, man. Dante says, I agree. Fangio's defense sucks. We need a Wade Phillips style team. I agree. An attacking defense that's not afraid to force turnovers and that's not afraid to get burned by the big play. I mean, once in a blue moon, you'd see Wade's defense get burned, but they'd come right back and they'd get a turnover on the next play. I mean, Jess, that is the exact order of it. Evero, much better than Fangio, but Fangio is much better than VJ. I could not agree more with that. Russ held on to the ball in 25 wide open. Let's give Jarrett some practice time, please. Jarrett's not going to do any better. As somebody who will watch Jarrett Stidham practice every single day in training camp, he is not good. He will not win this team football games. Russell Wilson gives this team the best chance to win football games, ride or die. It's just right now, this team just doesn't seem to have the horses to be able to win football games. Yeah, Russ took a couple of bad sacks. Esteban says, why not run the ball for the last 2 points? It looked like Washington stacked their D-line. They clogged all the run gaps. You couldn't run that in that situation. I mean, listen, Russell Wilson definitely did not have an ideal game today. He had 2 turnovers. The first turnover, again, that fumble, I want to see it again before I talk. Second one, I'm not putting that on him. I'm putting that on Courtland Sutton. Or if it is on him, it's because Russ expected Court to run a different route. I don't know who was wrong there. We won't ever truly know. But somebody was wrong there. And I honestly feel like it was Courtland that was wrong. I could be wrong, and Russ just threw that ball in the wrong spot. But I think Courtland was supposed to run a flat route, or more of an out route, actually, when he ran a corner route. You can't do that, because Russ threw that as if he was expecting Courtland Sutton to run the out route. DH says, soft-ass defense. KBS says, good thing Chargers are 0-2 and the Raiders lost today. We're still in an okay position. Jess says, our running game looked all right, though. It did, but we didn't commit to it in the second half. I mean, it felt like once the team got down, they were afraid to run the football. And I get that. You have to throw in order to get back into the game. But at the same time, man, I saw instances where Washington gave Denver a light box to run the football, and they didn't run the football. I mean, I don't know if Russell Wilson wasn't allowed to check to a run pre-snap. if he was, then he should have, and he didn't. So, but if Sean Payton didn't allow Russ to check to a run in those situations, then I'm putting that shit on offensive play calling. The run game staggered in that second half. I mean, frustrating. And I also have some qualms about how they executed that final 2-minute drive. I mean, it felt like they took too much time off the clock. There was a lack of urgency, it felt like, on that last drive. DH3 says the man was wide open a few times. Why sit there and take hits? You have people open. Okay, listen, I have to watch the tape here before I talk on this, but just because someone's open doesn't necessarily mean they're in the read. There can be guys who are open, but it's on the complete other side of the field of the progression. And if you start reading the other side of the field of than the progression side, that can lead to bad shit. So, yes, he may have been open. I'm not sitting here trying to defend Russell Wilson. I need to watch the tape before I can get a fair opinion on this. But there are times the commies have they're singing "Hail to the Redskins." That's the only time you'll ever hear me say that word. But that's the song they're singing. I come from a Native American background. Even before they changed their name, if I was in front of my grandfather who's Native American and I said that word, even talking about the football team, pop, right across the mouth. So, yeah, I got trained at a pretty young age to not say that word and take that word out of my vocabulary. So I've always just called them Washington. But yeah, they're singing HTTR right now. Fuck, man. It's so frustrating when you have a team that's got such high expectations on the defensive side of the ball, and then you bring in a coach who completely toilets those expectations. Don't get me wrong, personnel issues are also a big question mark here, and that's where George Payton, quite frankly, needs to be put on the hot seat, because some of his big signings, Zach Allen, where the hell were you? I mean, seriously, the personnel has to be put into question at some point here. When you have a pass rush that consistently struggles to get home, aside from Nick Benito in this game, when you've got a secondary that's consistently giving up big plays, when you have a top-paid safety who cannot make tackles on screens, Justin Simmons on 3 screens that Washington called missed tackles. I can't sit here and defend Justin Simmons much longer either. He had a horrible game today. He really did. He gave up a couple of big plays to Washington and a couple of mixed tackles in the screen game. Yes, losing his partner on the other side and for 2 weeks in a row in Caden Stearns and now Kareem Jackson doesn't fucking help. But Justin Simmons has to play better. Now I'm getting fired up, man. Now I'm getting fired up. But when you have all these top-paid players on defense, at the end of the day, scheming can only do so much. I didn't think scheming was actually the problem in that Raiders game. It was the lack of execution and the lack of discipline from the personnel on the fucking field. GJ said, yes, it's better to give it to the running back than lose yards. You're throwing it up to the running back use. I mean, are you talking on the 2-pointer? I would have personally throwing the ball there. I don't have an issue with the play call on the 2-pointer. Washington was clogging all the run gaps, so it would have made it pretty impossible to run the ball on that D-line. Deron Payne had gotten hurt a few plays earlier, but he was back in there on that play to get that key run stuff. Yeah, I don't really have an issue at all with the play call on the 2-pointer. I just wish we had managed the clock a little better earlier than that, but I can't complain too much about that tip drill touchdown. That was pretty fucking sweet. We just couldn't get that 2-pointer. I want to watch it again and see if Courtland Sutton did indeed get held. It seems like the chat's a little bit split on that. So I saw it on the replay board, but I was all going crazy obviously after the touchdown. Joe Vincent, our offensive line is consistently an issue too. Yep. Last week it definitely was, and then this week Mike McGlinchey had a couple of bad plays. Again, I got to watch the tape, but from what I saw, Mike McGlinchey had a couple of really bad plays today. All right, let's go ahead and get some stats up here. Broncos. Yeah, let's get the box score going here, guys. Oh, man, this is frustrating. Denver had such a strong game plan in that first half. How did Russell look? So Russell Wilson had an up and down day. He threw an interception, should have thrown a second one. Again, I said this already, I have to watch the tape. It looked like bad routes were run on both of them. I don't know if those interceptions were necessarily Russell Wilson's fault. He had a fumble that was ultimately what kind of sent this series of unfortunate events down that caused us to lose this game. But at the same time, the referees missed a face mask on that fumble. So Russell Wilson, I can't really give a fair grade right now until I watch the tape. Do you think our season is over? No, I don't. This is a Sean Payton-led team that has historically started slow, but at the same time, man, you needed to win that Week 1 game against the Raiders. If you go back and listen to some of my predictions from earlier the offseason, I've had us losing this Washington game pretty much all along. We needed to win in that Week 1 game against the Raiders, and we didn't execute. Next week, we have to go down to Miami, and I'm pretty fucking terrified about what's going to come out of that game. I really am. I feel like their offense is going to really destroy our defense. It's going to be really, really interesting to see if our offense can keep up with them, because I do feel like our offense can if Russell Wilson gives, or if Vic Fangio gives Russell Wilson the opportunity to make some big plays with his defensive play calls. But you had to win that Week 1 game. You really did, in order for this season to go on track, because now we're really staring 0-3 right in the face. I'm pretty confident we could go into Chicago and get a win. That offense looks extraordinarily incompetent. Tacmean says, our playbook looks small. I mean, Sean can't run his full playbook in year 1. There's just not enough time to install everything. So, yeah, it is a reduced playbook in comparison to Sean Payton's normal playbook. So, yeah, that's something that is kind of to be expected, honestly. All right, so we got some stats here. I got to roll quick here. My tablet's getting ready to die. Here's your big problem. Sam Howell was 27 for 39 through the air for 299 yards. He took advantage of a lot of short, quick throws underneath because of Vance Joseph's shitty soft zone defense. The screen game for Washington was phenomenal. Quite a few of those big chunk plays for Sam Howell came on screen plays. In that first half, I actually thought Sam Howell kind of looked pretty terrible until that last drive. But he got it together, and he cooked us for a couple of big plays downfield where he placed the ball perfectly. The touchdown on the post route, he put that thing right over Delarian Turner-Yell's head. I thought DTY kind of struggled after Caden Stearns got out of after Kareem Jackson got out of the game. I'm going to be curious to see if DTY is going to be good to go for next week, because he was evaluated for a concussion. Another problem, Washington gashed us on the ground. Brian Robinson, 18 carries for 87 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Overall, 23 carries given up by Washington for 122 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. We gave up an average of 5.3 yards per carry to Washington. That's disgustingly unacceptable. And then obviously the 2 touchdowns from Brian Robinson. Tacmean says, our pass rush is horrible. Yep, it sure is. And last week, our run defense looked good. This week, our run defense looked like shit. I think things were clicking before the fumble fakes. Yeah, they really were. It just, and then that is ultimately what killed the momentum for this team. Once Uncle Momentum got up and walked over to that Washington sideline, he never walked back to the Denver sideline until, you can argue, that last drive. Jess says, we just don't have the personnel to use more of the play. That too. That is definitely a part of it too. We just don't have the horses, man, and that's going to take some time. Sean Payton's going to bring his guys in here. We are in this Sean Payton haul for the long haul, guys. Sean Payton is going to be the Denver Broncos head coach next year. He's going to be the Denver Broncos coach the year after that, and he's going to be the Denver Broncos head coach the year after that. So this team is going to have to figure shit out. They really are, because Sean Payton isn't going anywhere. Antelope says, screens killed us. They did. At least 3 big plays off screens that I can count. At least 3. That's disgusting. It was like the Commanders were covered in butter because they couldn't get a tackle to save our life. Yeah, that really was what it was like, huh? I mean, I cannot say enough how bad of a game Justin Simmons had today. And there was a tweet that I saw today that I don't necessarily disagree with. The Broncos should have probably entertained trading Justin Simmons this offseason. The dude, in my opinion, has always been slightly overrated. This year, Justin Simmons does not look like a top 15 safety, let alone a top 3. I'm sorry. I know that's going to trigger some people in Broncos country, but that's just what I'm seeing, man. Justin Simmons is not holding his own out there, and today, his poor tackling was part of the reason why we lost this game. It was. Now, again, I'm not going to put everything on Justin Simmons. I mean, of course, for 2 weeks in a row, he lost the safety that was playing on the other side of him. At one point, we had to put Esain Bassi back there at safety and then bring in Jaquan McMillan at nickel after Delarian Turner-Yell got injured on that, I believe it was a kickoff or a punt return. DJ says, poor tackling. Troutman is horrible. McGlinchey is terrible. I'll definitely agree with you on the McGlinchey one. He had a shitty day today. He really did. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it's just frustrating, man. Jess says, unpopular opinion, but I think we're going to get better as the season goes and some of our injured players back in the team can execute. I sure hope so. And that's what I'm expecting, honestly, with this Sean Payton team. Sean Payton's teams have historically started off slow, but then over time, they've been able to really get things going. It looks like we're about to get kicked out of the stadium, guys, so I'm going to probably have to dip out of here. Fans are all cleared out. I'm probably going to have to head outside of the stadium here, guys, so bear with me here. We'll go ahead and move out real quick. MKT Medhead says, how much of this falls on Vance Joseph? A strong chunk of it. A strong chunk of it. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. We really appreciate you. All right, we're out. So, let's come back over here and we'll take a look at some more stats, guys. I just got to find a place to set my phone down. I don't want to walk away too far from the stadium because my service sucks here. And we're rolling pretty much off of the stadium Wi-Fi. Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. All right, we're just going to have to roll like this. David says, defense is fair, not good yet. I mean, they're just not there, man. And again, with Vance Joseph as your defensive coordinator, that's the problem. Gregory is also shit versus the run. Yes, very much so. Had a better pass rush game, but still he's overpaid. Yep. The decision for the Broncos to move on from Von Miller looks worse and worse by the day. The decision for them to not bring back Von Miller in free agency when he wanted to come back here, he said he wanted to come back here. Instead, the team decided to go out and pay Randy Gregory. JP Tupac says the Broncos looked good offensively, but the defense was trash and the officiating was horrible. Worse than the officiating was trash. The officiating was absolutely garbage. 2 missed face masks on Russell Wilson. A potential no call on Cortland Sutton in the end zone on the 2-pointer. Again, gotta watch the tape on that one. Yeah, the officiating was horrible. Defense, again, bad. But Russell Wilson, man, he can't turn the football over on that play where he fumbled it. Again, man, I got to watch it again. I will say that for the 15th time. I got to watch that play again, but I think he could have thrown that ball away. And that was the play that really started the downward spiral for the Denver Broncos. Justin did have a mild injury. I believe it was like a soft tissue injury, if I remember correctly from the preseason. I've got it in my notes down here somewhere. I can go all the way back to training camp. But DJ, we do have a lot of overpaid guys. And who does that fall on? Falls on George Payton, and before that it fell on John Elway. Front office has been the big problem for this team. What were our receiving stats? All I can remember is Mims in quarter 1. Okay, I'll go ahead and pull that up, actually. Let me get the tablet rocking and rolling here. Oh, that actually works out. I can do that. Cool. No, it was a fumble. I agree. It just, there was a potential missed face mask on that one. Sorry if I misspoke there. Again, guys, I'm just pissed off right now. Receiving stats. So, Marvin Mims, 2 catches, 113 yards and the touchdown. Brandon Johnson, 2 catches, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the last-second tip drill touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 5 catches, 66 yards. I believe he didn't get his first catch until almost halftime or even beyond halftime. I can't remember for sure. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 25, almost utilized as a decoy today. Javonte, 2 for 14. Samaje, 3 for 20. Adam Troutman, no catches. That's terrible. And then little Jordan Humphrey, 1 catch for 4 yards. Losing Greg Dulcich, you can see, hurt this team, man. Not having that playmaking threat on third down, it hurt. It was very clear that it hurt. Oh, looks like the Commanders' buses are leaving right now. I would rather have Vic Fangio. Okay. Sorry, guys. So, I'd rather have Vic Fangio than Vance Joseph, that's for sure. I personally would not have let Ejiro Evero out of that building, man. I know he wanted to leave. I would have said, okay, if you want to leave, then here's a contract to make you one of the highest paid defensive coordinators in the game. I would have done that because Ejiro Evero, despite being just a first-year defensive coordinator last year, he looked like a guy who was able to take that Vic Fangio scheme and, quite frankly, eliminate almost all the problems that I had with it. The lack of run defense, the lack of discipline when tackling, the lack of communication at times that caused big plays in the secondary, the lack of blitzes. I mean, Evero took away almost all of that stuff that I have problems with the Vic Fangio scheme. I would not have let Ejiro Evero out of the building if it were up to me whatsoever. Elway says, Vance Joseph is terrible. When we score 33 points, we should be winning, not losing. I mean, there were other plays as well that definitely contributed to the swing, but at the end of the day, man, this defense has to be better. I don't know how much of it we can put on Vance Joseph, how much of it we can put on personnel, but there's clearly everybody's fingerprints on it defensively, including Sean Payton's. Jeff says, yeah, DJ, there was a face mask on Russ before the fumble and also the second to last red zone drive. Yep, referees weren't calling shit for us in the second half. The fix was in. I mean, the referees were bad. The referees were just really objectively bad. I think they even missed a call on Washington, too. Like, the refereeing on both sides was just abject garbage. So, yes, I will definitely... I'm not one that typically blames the officials because if you're blaming the officials, that means there were other plays where you could have won the game. And that's very much true for the Denver Broncos. But at the same time, that officiating would have helped us at least if they had gotten those calls right. We did score more than 30 points, man. We did. I mean, I don't know how much I really want to count that last-second touchdown on the tip drill. But still, our offense actually looked somewhat competent for the most part, especially in that first half. It's that second half. Things stalled out in that red zone where we had to settle for a field goal. Russ took a bad sack on third down. That's one where I'll be like, okay, Russ, you have to be better in that situation. There was somebody that appeared to be open in the course of the progression, too. Not somebody who was just open on the other side of the field where Russ would have never seen him. So that's one I will definitely put on Russ. Elway says the last PI no call was ridiculous. Yeah, man, definitely, that would hurt. That one definitely hurt, because if that would have gone the other way, man, we would have had another chance at it. And we could have potentially taken this game to overtime and atoned for a lot of our mistakes in this game. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and dip out of here. We're almost at the hour mark right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this post-game stream. I know this is very much therapy for a lot of frustrated Broncos fans just like myself. I mean, I think we all are very disappointed and upset with how things ended today. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid.